Good morning class 12th. Welcome you all in Classroom Notes by Rekha Jain. Today we are going to study the chapter Lost Spring by Anish Young in detail. This is an excerpt from the book Lost Spring of Stolen Childhood, written by Anish Young, in which she has expressed her concern about the exploitation of the children who are working in hazardous conditions, and these are the rag pickers and the bangle makers. She is of the opinion that poverty traps in exploitation, suppression and deprivation. Suppression means something to end by force, and deprivation means something when is not given, which was her right. Moreover, backbreaking work results in perpetual poverty and accepting that as destiny. So, just have a look over the word meaning. Scrounging, that is used as an hyperbole by the author here, that means searching. Mutters, grumbles, glibly, without thought, although non-serious. Perpetual, everlasting. Desolation, destroyed. Acquaintance, known to. Periphery, border. Squatters, illegal residents. Devoid, lacking in. Mirage, illusion. Slog, working hard. Ovals, dirty houses. Wobbly, likely to break. Shack, small building of wood or steel. Frail, weak, impoverished, very poor. Lineage, ancestry, unkempt, untidy. Shanty, crude shelter. Drab, dull, sanctity, worth protecting. Numbing, bringing to a standstill. Apathy, indifference. Huddling, pulling fast. Stigma, curse sign. Now let's see what is the theme incorporated here. Abject poverty traps in vicious circle of carelessness, exploitation and indifference, and of which one can never come out. Now two protagonists, Sahib Alam and Mukesh, lose their childhood while carrying the burden of poverty and illiteracy. And in their bleak stories of exploitation, the author finds hope and resilience. That means she hopes that they can be taken out of this squalor condition. Bangle makers depict that backbreaking work results in perpetual poverty and accepting that as destiny. Now let's discuss the title. Spring is the season of bloom which brings an aura of positivity. Aura means environment. Spring is the symbol of childhood also, but that spring is snatched from the children who are depicted here, and this is clarified from the word lost. Now let's see what is given in the two parts of the chapter. First part denotes the rag pickers of Simapuri. Here squatters have come from Bangladesh. Why? Because everything has been destroyed there by storms. And author meets a boy whose name is Sahib Alam. Now see what an irony. In the name, Sahib means Lord, Alam means universe. When author explains this meaning to the boy, he looks at her in wonder because earlier to that no one has tried to explain. Now when author asks him why he doesn't go to school, he replies again innocently that there is no school for him. And when author offers to open a school for him, he is so excited that next day when he meets author, he starts asking, and author is embarrassed here because her promise was done non-seriously. It was a shallow promise. Now when author asks him why doesn't he wear the shoes, he replies again innocently that his mama doesn't give. Another child cracks a joke by saying even if his mama gives, he doesn't wear. And this is the general thinking of the people, that these poor people don't wear the shoes. Author contradicts this general thinking. Why? Because she thinks that they are very poor, that is why they can't afford wearing the shoes. And she substantiates, that means proves, this with two examples. One is of the young boy who told her that when he was young, he used to go to the temple which was near to his school, and his father was a priest there. and he would stand in front of the god praying for a pair of shoes. After 30 years, when the author visited that town and temple again, that temple was now in shambles. Another priest lived there then. Another young boy came pantingly through his bag and wished to God never to part from his shoes, which he had finally got. That means pair of shoes which he had finally got, he prayed not to be separated from that. Now God has granted his wish. So these two sons of the priest were, but there are still so many author thinks who are unable to afford the shoes. Now author talks about Simapuri, which is so near to Delhi, but in terms of development this is far away from it. Why? Because living conditions are very terrible here. People who have come from Bangladesh has squatted here. Almost 10,000 rag pickers have settled here. Still, there is such a terrible condition that there is no sewerage, no drainage, no running water, wobbly houses, and moreover there is no identity of these people, but there is one solace for them, and that is the ration card, which enables them to have food. Why? Food is more important for them than their identity. And why did they leave their lush and flourishing fields? Because they were destroyed. There was nothing to be eaten for survival, and that is why wherever they get food, they pitch their tents there, and that is how that becomes their transit homes, means portable. Wherever they go, wherever they find something, they pitch their tent. Now you can see the squalor picture of the rag pickers, especially the children who pass their time on the dirty heaps of garbage. Now for these people, rag picking has acquired the fine proportions of art. How do they scrounge in the garbage for gold? Such an hyperbolic expression used by the author. A 1 rupee coin is compared to the gold. And for the children, there is a difference between the outlook of the children and the adults. For children, it's wrapped in wonder, that means entertainment, but for adults, it's a means of survival. Now one morning, Sahib is seen standing at the gate of a neighborhood club, and he was intently watching the youngsters playing inside. Why? Because he wanted to play like them, although he enters when no one is there inside. This time he was wearing the old tennis shoes, though one of them had a hole inside the shoe, but that didn't bother him. Next morning, Sahib was carrying a steel canister, and why? Because he had started working at a tea stall. Although he earned 800 rupees, yet he was not happy, and his carefree look had gone from his face. And the author judges out that the tin canister was heavy from the plastic bag. That means then he used to entertain himself. He was free, master of his own choice. Now second part is from Bengal Maker's Family, and title is I Want to Drive a Car. And here author talks about Firozabad, which is famous for glass glowing industries. Almost 20,000 children work in terrible conditions, glass furnaces with high temperature, dingy cells, no ventilation, stinking lanes, choked with garbage, crumbling walls, wobbly doors, that means very weak doors, can fall at any moment. And it seems as if humans and animals coexist because there is no drainage, there is no sanitation maintained. And Mukesh invites the author to his home, and when she goes there, she meets his grandma, who tells the sad story of her husband's profession. Although the story was sad, but she told that with a sense of pride. And Why? Because she considers that as a gift by God. And her husband tells that he knows nothing than bangle making, and this is all he had achieved in his lifetime. So deplorable, my dear students. In the name of the house was just one room, and that too was temporary shed. That was not a home, that was just a temporary shed. And although children become blind even before they grow young, why do they become blind? Because they work in dim light. And a case is being given of Savita by the narrator, that a young girl, Savita, whose hands move mechanically, she is so skilled in soldering the bangles. Her hands are compared with a pair of tongs. But unfortunately, she won't be able to see the colorful bangles in her hand. These bangles are auspicious for the married woman. But when she would be married, she would have become blind. So sad. And moreover, mind-numbing toil killed their enthusiasm. Mind-numbing toil. Work is so hard. They keep working for ages that it kills their capacities of the mind. And this lamentation, this regret of not having enough, echoes in the young hearts. The sad plight is that they can't organize themselves into cooperatives. They are trapped in vicious circle of poverty, and they become the victims of apathy, callousness, greed and injustice by the middlemen, by the police officers, by the bureaucrats, by the money lenders. When author sees these images, she is able to see the two distinct worlds, two clear worlds. One is the world of poverty in which they are born, which compels them to lurk in illiteracy, and they are exploited, they are suppressed. And the second world is the world of middlemen, police officers, bureaucrats, money lenders. These are all the forces conspiring together to trap them in the vicious circle of poverty. And when they are taught since their birth that daring is not their etiquettes, but there is one child, Mukesh, who dares, and he is different from others, but so sad that he is also unaware that his dream will loom like a mirage, because they are so poor. From where the money of learning to drive will come? Because he has dared to learn driving. He is so innocent, because see, Firozabad is such an underdeveloped part where airstrip is not maintained. That's why only few aeroplanes fly over Firozabad. That's why Mukesh has not seen. Had he seen aeroplane flying over, he would have dreamt of that. So author just expresses her lamentation, her concern over the plight of these slum dwellers, and through this part she appeals the public to come forward to help them. So this is all in today's part. Bye bye.